Chapter 4. The kids band together and end up fighting the giant Grimm, eventually splitting into two teams. Jean, Nora, Pyrrha, and Ren faces the Deathstalker, and RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang fight the Nevermore. I think this beginning part where RWBY teases Weiss is really cute. RWBY lost a lot of her more fun personality traits in this rendition of her. RWBY's a lot more noble, which I really like, but she isn't as energetic anymore, which I find a little disappointing. This is a nice little moment where we get to see that side of RWBY a lot more than in the last couple of chapters. So, Weiss's ice block does not look like ice. Like, I thought it was a tree or something. I get the feeling this artist struggles with textures sometimes. This panel is super confusing. I can't tell whose speech bubble is whose. I think having Nora bending in like this just makes the whole flow of the panel hard to follow. No, RWBY, don't. So, like I said, I like the idea of RWBY being much more noble and heroic, but there's a difference between being a hero and being hard-headed. The others are right. This is clearly too large a threat for the kids to try to handle, and RWBY says it might attack someone else, and that's part of the orientation. Ozpin and Glinda should be aware of the dangers in the area, and a part of the danger is knowing when a foe is too much for you to handle. In the show, the kids do try to escape, but the monsters end up surrounding them. With no options left, the kids knew they needed to turn and fight. Knowing when to run is just as important as knowing when to hold your ground. Having RWBY try to be this pinnacle of justice right now is also robbing RWBY of character growth. At this point, it feels like RWBY is all ready to graduate Beacon. Her sense of justice and her conviction feels like that of someone with years of experience, not an underage freshman. If they ran now, then fought the monsters when they had no other options, then RWBY would have something to reflect on. Being willing to stand your ground even when the odds seem impossible. But this wave removes that potential, and I really don't like it. Oh, looks like these background characters know Jean's name somehow. I also think this is really dumb. The kids have just decided to naturally divide into what their respective teams will be right off the bat. I like how in the show they have no idea who their teammates might be. Also, there was none of this divide and conquer crap either. They faced whichever threat they could. They went back and forth between fighting different Grimm. Wasn't it awesome seeing Blake fighting next to Ren, and then how Weiss saved Nora here? Having the 8 split apart feels lazy, especially since half of these characters either don't like each other or don't even know each other. I do like the lines of each team wishing they chose to fight the other monster. It's a cute touch. So I have no idea what's going on in these panels. The artist decided to just do this blurry line thing rather than actually draw anything happening. I don't know what kind of attack the Nevermore did, and I don't know what Yang and RWBY did to evade the attack. How is Yang firing her gun here? Did she do a rolling running punch or something? She has to do a punching maneuver to activate the shotgun element of her gauntlets. Also, this is the first time we see her using bullets in the manga, so I wouldn't be surprised if manga-only readers got confused by this. Does she have a gun like RWBY, or is this like a super mega punch shockwave Yang is doing? This is also the first time we see Chris and Rose in gun mode. Were there any readers confused about what happened to RWBY's scythe? They never really go into the transformative nature of the weapons in the manga. There's just a lot of unexplained things they're throwing at us right now. I like the idea of people having negative impressions of Blake. Weiss says people say she's conceited and self-righteous. And they're not wrong. That's kind of an interesting element I wish was in the show. Blake's already standoffish. Would other people think negatively of her for it? It's really, really cool how they use Weiss's glyphs to have Blake run through the air to get to the Nevermore. I wish Weiss used her glyphs to support her teammates more often in the show, too. Come on, Weiss, you got the most range and a bigger pool of skills than everyone else. Stop being a glyph hog. So that was Chapter 4. Interesting to cut the Grimm fight in half like this. Clearly I had a couple of problems with some things, but really the biggest detriment is RWBY's forced heroism. It feels like every other anime hero trope, and it's disappointing because RWBY has always been much more grounded than her anime protagonist contemporaries. But, aside from that, the rest of the characters are a lot better. Jean, Weiss, Pyrrha, Yang, and Blake all have really great moments with each other. Of course, Ren and Nora are still a little more than scribbles in the background, but whatever. Also, the lack of full animation has really put a dent in the fight scenes. Panels can be confusing or lose the flow of the battle, but that was to be expected from changing the show to a comic-style format. I know this was sort of a short one, but nothing really much happened worth mentioning. They started the fight, and that's it. They didn't get to talk much, and none of the action shots were all that impressive either. If you want to see a strong action scene, then go for the show, but the conversation between Weiss and Blake was nice. Other than that, though, the manga really doesn't have anything to add that the show doesn't do better. Hell, with the show, at least you get to see the whole fight all at once, rather than split it up like this. Now, next time, let's see how the kids plan on finishing off the epic fight in the forest. Alrighty, I hope you liked that video. I have a Patreon, and if you want to help support me, any and all support helps. $1, $7, anything at all. Lots of cool things for you over there, so go ahead and check it out, please. And any and all support is greatly, greatly appreciated. In the comments, I want to know, did you like this chapter? Am I being too harsh and negative on the manga? Because I think I'm not, and I have read ahead, and it doesn't get much better. But we'll get there. Let me know what you think. Do you enjoy it? Do you find the panels confusing? Any and all thoughts, leave them in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.